Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a powerful message from the prophet Hosea, one that speaks directly to the heart of our spiritual journey. It's a message of hope, renewal, and the incredible depth of God's love. The prophet Hosea brings a profound invitation to God's people, saying, "Come, let us return to the Lord." Think about those words for a moment. They aren't just an invitation, they're a powerful reminder of God's unending mercy and grace. In Hosea's time, the people had drifted far from God, losing their way. Yet even after all their wandering, the door to return was never closed. This ancient message resonates so strongly with our lives today. Who among us hasn't felt distant from God at times? Life gets busy, our priorities shift, stress piles up, and before we know it, we feel disconnected from our spiritual path. We lose sight of what truly matters. We might feel like we've drifted too far, or that we've made too many mistakes. But the beautiful truth of God's love is this: He is always inviting us back. No matter how far we feel we've gone, His invitation to return is constant and unwavering. The passage in Hosea chapter 6 begins with a surprising idea. It says that even when God allows us to go through hardship, His ultimate purpose is not to punish, but to heal and restore. The verse says, "After 2 days He will revive us. On the third day He will restore us." This is a message overflowing with hope. It tells us that the difficult seasons in our lives are not the end of the story. In fact, they can become the very turning point that brings us closer to God than ever before. Let's be real, we all face struggles in our daily lives. There's stress from work, conflicts within our families, financial worries that keep us up at night, and health concerns that can be frightening. We face emotional challenges, moments of doubt, and feelings of being completely overwhelmed. In those dark moments, it's easy to feel like God has forgotten us. But Hosea reminds us that God's goal is never our destruction. It is always our restoration. He can take our most painful seasons and transform them into times of incredible growth, healing, and renewal. The passage then encourages us to actively seek God. It says, let us press on to know the Lord." This is so important. Faith isn't a one-time decision we make and then forget about. It's a daily, continuous journey. It's a relationship that needs to be nurtured. The scripture beautifully compares God's faithfulness to the sunrise. His going forth is as certain as the dawn, just as the sun rises every single morning without fail. God's presence in our lives is constant and dependable, but it's up to us to turn our faces toward that light. We must choose to seek Him regularly. Think about all the things we invest our time in each day. We dedicate hours to our jobs and responsibilities. We scroll through social media, watch our favorite shows, and pursue our hobbies and personal interests. All of these things have their place, but our spiritual life needs just as much, if not more, attention. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even just a few minutes each day spent in quiet reflection, prayer, or reading scripture can bring so much clarity, peace, and strength into our busy lives. Now, we come to one of the most powerful and revolutionary verses in this entire passage. God says, "For I desire mercy, not sacrifice, an acknowledgement of God rather than burnt offerings." Let that sink in. What God truly desires isn't just outward religious activity. He isn't impressed by grand gestures or empty rituals. What He longs for is a heart that is transformed, a heart that reflects His own character of love, compassion, and faithfulness. This message is incredibly relevant for us today. It's easy to get caught up in the motions of religion, going to services, saying our prayers, following traditions while completely missing the point. The purpose of our faith is not just to check boxes, it's to fundamentally change who we are and how we interact with the world around us. Our faith is meant to shape our daily actions. What does this look like in practice? It looks like showing patience when someone is getting on your last nerve. It looks like taking the time to help a neighbor who is struggling. It means choosing forgiveness, even when it's hard, for someone who has hurt you. It means speaking words that build people up instead of tearing them down. True faith isn't just something we practice in private prayer. It's something we live out in all of our relationships, every single day. Hosea also points out a very human truth. Our own faithfulness can be inconsistent. The scripture describes our love as being like a morning cloud, like the dew that goes away early. Sometimes we're on fire for our faith, passionate and committed. At other times we get distracted, we drift, and our passion fades. We are imperfect, but here is the most beautiful part. God's love is not like that. His love isn't fickle or fleeting, it's steady, patient, and endlessly forgiving. It doesn't depend on our performance. Even when we fail, even when we stumble and lose our way, God doesn't give up on us. He continues to gently guide us, calling us back to the right path. His love doesn't disappear when we struggle. In fact, that is when his invitation to begin again becomes the clearest. So, how can we take this profound message from Hos and apply it to our everyday lives? It's simpler than you might think. We can start by taking small, intentional steps. First, begin each day with gratitude. Before you check your phone or rush into your to-do list, just take one moment to thank God for the gift of a new day and the fresh opportunities it holds. Second, practice mercy. Throughout your day, make a conscious choice to extend compassion instead of judgment to the people you encounter. Third, commit to growing in your faith daily. This could be 5 minutes of reading scripture, a short time in prayer, or just sitting in stillness and listening for God's voice. Fourth, when challenges arise, make your first instinct to seek God. Instead of trying to handle every problem on your own, invite Him into the situation. You'll be amazed at the peace and wisdom He provides. And finally, show your love through your actions. Remember that small, simple acts of kindness are powerful reflections of God's heart in the world. To conclude, the message of Hosea chapter 6 is a beautiful reminder that God's greatest desire is not for our empty rituals, but for our genuine faith and sincere mercy. He invites every single one of us to return to Him, to grow in a deep and personal relationship with Him, and to live a life that truly reflects His incredible love. Every new day is an opportunity for a new beginning. It doesn't matter what yesterday looked like. It doesn't matter how far you feel you've strayed. Today can be different. When we sincerely seek God and actively practice mercy in our daily lives, we discover a depth of peace and purpose that has the power to transform everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content to encourage you on your journey. See you next time.